Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Putin has just announced a partial mobilization of 300,000 reservists to join his Ukrainian invasion effort. After suffering humiliating defeat under the Ukrainians in the last few weeks, he felt it was necessary to kind of accomplish his goals of completely destroying Ukraine and annexing Donbas region and incorporating it into Russia. We all know that Putin is an ex KGB agent, so he is very manipulative. He gave this address 13 hours ago, and he started with his usual list of grievances, claiming that the West is out to get Russia and the West hates Russia. None of it is true, by the way. But he kind of pretends that whatever he is doing is to protect the integrity of Russia, even though he is the one who started this conflict. He is the one who aggressively tried to destroy civilian infrastructure, kill innocent civilians in Ukraine. He also claims that Kiev had abandoned a peaceful solution to the problem of Donbas. That is a lie. I mean, he kind of put a gun to Vladimir Zelensky's head and said, "Are you going to negotiate?" That's not a fair way to negotiate. So, this is just BS. But most of his speech is geared for ordinary Russians who consume a lot of state media and are completely under the spell of Kremlin's propaganda. So, according to his order, he's mobilizing those who are already in the reserves. Russia has about 2 million forces in the reserves. And he claims that they will be provided additional training before they will be sent to the front lines. I don't know how that's going to happen because Russian military losses, which we are going to take a look at soon, are significant. He refers to Ukrainian efforts to maintain their integrity of their lands as terrorist strikes. It's really funny, guys. Yeah, he even claims that the West is resorting to blackmail. A lot of projection going on here, and this is a typical tactic of a bully. So they kind of gaslight everyone into thinking that it's the other person who is doing the bullying, not them. So, as soon as this news broke out, Russians, understandably so, wanted to just leave the country. There are only a couple of countries right now that allow Russians to enter without a visa. That includes Turkey and Armenia, and you can see that almost all the tickets to Istanbul and other places are booked, completely booked. Russia is so desperate right now that they've been trying to hire mercenaries from prisons, prisons from criminals who uh, are being enticed with the lure of getting their sentence commuted after 6 months of service. This is a joke because military service requires a lot of training. In fact, in the US Army, every recruit goes through 10 weeks of basic combat training. They learn rifle marksmanship, they learn moving as a unit. They do the night infiltration course, they work on their physical fitness, integrity, loyalty matters a lot. So I don't know how they're going to make this successful. It's a recipe for disaster, and it also shows how desperate Russia is right now. So here's a look at Russia's losses as claimed by Ukrainians. About 55,000 killed and 165,000 wounded, and it makes up of 24.6% of the active Russian forces. They also incurred significant losses. You might have seen pictures of APCs, tanks that are destroyed or just left behind near the Kharkiv region when Russians hastily retreated the region. John McCain once said that Russia is nothing but a gas station masquerading as a country. It is very true. Except for selling gas and oil, they don't have anything else in terms of trade. And after Western sanctions, they are really going to face the consequences of their actions. But it's not just Putin who is the bad guy here. It's a conglomerate. Uh, Russian oligarchs and Putin have built a system that benefits these ultra rich Russians. So they steal money from ordinary Russians from the state of Russia, and they buy luxury yachts and build these shell companies to hide their money away. But unfortunately, a lot of Russian propagandists they nicely play to the tune of Kremlin. So here's a warning by one of the pro Kremlin propagandists that anybody who tries to protest this new order will automatically be identified and they will be sent for conscription. So you can see how hard their propaganda machine is working. But the morale of the Russian forces is very low. Even with the best equipment and the best training, if the soldiers are demotivated, there's not much commanders can do on the ground. Ukrainians are fighting for a just cause to save their country, while Russians are fighting for a paycheck. They don't even want to be there. This is being forced upon a lot of Russian soldiers. So we'll see how this shapes up. But Ukrainians, with the professionalism that they have been displaying, and more Western support in terms of logistics, intelligence, weapons, and training that's being sent to Ukraine, I'm sure that Ukrainians are not going to lose this war. In fact, the West cannot afford to let Ukraine lose this war. In 2014, when Putin invaded Ukraine and annexed Crimea, that's when we should have taken a very hard line. But past is past. So hopefully we won't repeat that mistake, and we will hold Putin accountable to for all of his mistakes and all of the murdering and all of the destruction that he has caused in Ukraine. So that's it from me. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you next time.